Hello everyone, welcome to Elliott with Cafe. I am your host, the Cowboy, and this is another episode of the chart of the day. Today we're going to take a look at AMC. It is Tuesday, March 1st, the beginning of the month, and I've gotten a request about this chart, and it's interesting, right? This has been one of the sweethearts of the meme mania there with the stocks along GME as well, and you've had a pretty strong rally here from about $2 all the way almost to $80 here in AMC. So very interesting rise, and we've been retracing and just kind of going nowhere since those highs, basically, you know, from the summer of the last year. So I just kind of want to dive in and tell you my view on this chart, but I want you to stop the video again and just kind of go from these lows to these highs and then try to make sense of this pattern, see what you think about it and where we are. And then today's video is going to be a little bit shorter, but it's just another look at the wave counting and kind of, you know, what I see through the eyes of the wave principle in here. All right, so here is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at an impulse back here, big impulse, right? Just a crazy short squeeze. We all know that term. And then we're moving sideways here, and then we do one more move. And to me, it's got all the looks of a three-wave advance here in A, triangle B, and then up in C. So that's kind of one move. I don't see a five-wave move in here, no matter how I look at it. I think it's clearly a three-wave pattern. So that tells me that the move from these highs to these lows is just a three-wave pattern. This could be considered, let's say, I don't know, a wave W. You might have an X and then a push back up higher, or this could be it, and then, AMC is moving lower. We don't know. But for right now, this is kind of what we see. We see a three-wave advance, and I want to kind of treat it as such. And then now from these highs to these lows, I'm looking at it as I'm seeing a little bit of an impulse here. So I go in a wave 1, 2, 3, triangle in a fourth in here, followed by a fifth wave. So that's one thing, actually starting from these highs, because if you look in here, you can count in the C wave, you can count in a 1, 2. So that's your 1, that's your 2, that's up in 3, down in 4, and then you're pushing higher in this fifth wave. I think this is a truncated fifth move. Due to the fact that this was, very, very strong third wave. Usually fifth waves don't make it to make new all-time highs, and you rather fall apart. And then you start the count basically in this move from this highs, and you go 1, 2, 3, triangle 4, down in 5. That's kind of how I see that. So you go down in wave, let's say wave 1, you go up in 2, then 1, 2, let's say 3, 4, and 5, maybe another 4 and another 5. So let's just kind of, I think I already have this saved up. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it, right? A, triangle B, and then up in C wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move the chart down and in 5. So here are the internals of all these moves. You go 1, 2, 1 in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up in wave 2, then another 1, 2, then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for this third, right? That's the third of a third, pretty strong decline in there. Then you push up in a fourth wave that compares with this wave second, and then you have a little bit of a longer fifth wave. You can notice wave 3 is not the shortest, wave 5 is the longest, wave 1 is small. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for that larger third wave minor, 1, 2, this is intermediate wave 2, intermediate wave 3 coming down, 1, 2, 3. This is such a corrective move that I have to assume it's probably some kind of a fourth wave still, followed by another sell-off in the fifth wave of a larger third in AMC, right? It doesn't seem that this move is complete. So one more push higher in this fifth of third, then push higher again in this fourth, and then again in the fifth wave. Now, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong and this is not what's happening, right? I still think I'm fairly correct in assuming that this is a corrective pattern right there, right? So pending a big surprise and this being some kind of a leading diagonal with the second wave pullback and you're pushing much, much higher in AMC, I just don't see it happening. I'm looking at this and the market is still telling me, you might have to look to the downside before you look to the upside first. But what if I'm wrong into this declines, right? Because I'm expecting a couple of fourth waves and then a push lower. So this means one more fifth and then another fifth. Well, what if I'm wrong and this is a third wave that's already complete in here, right? And I have to push this third wave up there. I got to push a fourth. I got to do a fifth in here. Take the third, push it back. Take the fourth, push it back here, right? And then do a fifth. Can you work with this? I mean, I can. I don't have a problem with it. I think, this fourth wave here is fairly small with the second wave. So if you look at this minor degree, you can see how small this fourth wave is compared with the second. That's the only reason why, I am allowing for this fourth wave to be pushed back in here, which lowers my expectation for a termination right away of the count, but rather letting it decline a little bit more. All right, so that's what I'm looking. I'm looking to see if visually we have the right look. If I'm getting, that guideline of alternation a little bit. If the fourth wave it's at least as big as the second wave. For me, that's important when I'm looking at the fourth wave, especially on the stocks. So, that's one of the reasons why I think this fourth wave it could be here. But if it's not, I'm still expecting a decline, right? I'm still going to expect a decline, and then once I'm getting this final fifth wave. And once again, I mean, look at this fourth wave. It's got to be at least the size of the second. And what I usually do, and Motive Wave is awesome at this, I go on a time analysis and I compare 4v2, and it gives me the time in here, right? So this is where, right here, and I can pull a date, at about, let's see here, in March 31st, around the end of this month, wave 4 would have traveled about 161.8 multiple, right, of the wave 2 in terms of time. Equality actually comes pretty soon, so this is 100% right there, about March 8th. So about another week of sideways price action in AMC, then you're going to have 4v2 equality at this degree of trend, right, at this intermediate degree, and then you push lower in this fifth wave, right? And what that does, that tells you that you might run towards a completed correction here. You can do some measurements in wave 5 versus wave 1. So this is wave 5 versus 1 plus 3 at about 38%, targets about 11, 618 targets at about 7. And if you want to do a 5v1, that tells you that equality comes in at about $9. So there is a big chance that AMC will travel. Let me remove those too. I'm going to remove this as well. I'm going to pin this out so it stays on the chart, and then I'm going to do also a 5 versus 1 plus 3, which is another ratio that I like to use. So ratio 5 versus 1 plus 3, and I use a cluster of zones. So now on the decline here, AMC could come at the minimum here towards $11 on a 38%, and then $9 and then $7. So between $7 and $11, it's a good targeted area for a fifth wave decline, depending on where this fourth wave finishes, because depending on where you're placing it, right, these fibs are going to change. So I'm giving it the high that it is right now. Let's do also a fourth wave, 4v3 in terms of fib pullback. So you're looking at about 38%, comes at about $22. Maybe if AMC wants to rally up there, that's fine. For a fourth wave, if it is at a lower degree, we could be already done. And then a push lower here should ensue. And only after this is done, then you can be looking at an eventual, let's say, ABC advance higher, and you can say, fine, there's going to be a move back in here. A rally that's upcoming, but I don't think we're there yet. I think this still can work out. Now, you might ask me, hey, what if this is an ABC? Now, this is an A wave, and that's a B wave, and this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you see, and you're done. Well, this move in here tells me that we're not done. To be done, you have to climb back towards $32, at least to kind of, give a little bit of confidence that this downtrend is over. Okay, and you can do also some trend lines in here. Let me do that and show the channel. So this is the declining channel as part of an impulse, right? So you kind of have to get back above that to start getting confirmation that this downtrend is over. So if you look at this as an ABC, it's possible, but then you have to look for a 5-way move up and then a 3-way setback to kind of get confirmations that that's possible. I don't think that's the case. I still think this decline is probably gonna push a little bit lower in here. Remains to be seen, but that's kind of my interpretation at the moment. So, longer term, I don't have a big view on AMC. I'm looking at their fundamentals. They're very bad. You can see their balance sheet, their earnings, everything points to the direction. This is a company that's struggling, that it's got to grow and it's got to have good earnings for markets to assign a good value. I think that squeeze game, it's over at the moment. And I don't know if that's still, if anybody still has that mentality that this could actually squeeze to the upside for whatever reason. unless, you're running on some kind of a hope. But the charts are telling you you're in a decline. You should respect that. And then, there's also respect the counts. So guys, listen, I'll leave it at that, just a short 10-minute video. Please let me know your questions, your comments. What's the next chart you would like to see? Something that's interesting, something that's in the news. And then I'll be happy to take a look at that. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Visit us into the Pro Room. We do a lot of stuff there, Bitcoin, crypto, all kind of things. It's an awesome place to kind of learn and dive down every single day into Elliott and counts and things like that. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.